All right, we are live. All right, we are live. This is chapter one on the book. Oh, shoot. One of my favorite authors. Oh, I don't know if you can see. Oh, The New World Order by Ralph Epperson. He wrote this book in 1990. And we're reading chapter one. And like I said before, I will be bringing it up to date to today's time and what's happening now. Um, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, you know, share the video. Trying to get in the YouTube algorithm. For real, I'm getting serious about this. Chapter one is tomorrow's rulers. Something is indeed wrong in America. Yes, it is. Look at what's happening. From TD Jakes to Big Diddy to sacrifices for fame and fortune, all the scandals. We're seeing things that we never thought we would see from the migrant crisis. They still coming. They still coming. You can shut down the border after 2,500 every day. Now you tell me where all these jobs at. How they gonna survive here? Now you let me know. From Hunter Biden's conviction to Trump's conviction to the politics, chemtrails, everything that is happening is a tragedy. This is no longer a conspiracy, it's a fact that there is major corruption in this world, in the United States. Europe done fell apart, United States falling apart. The whole world is crumbling. It really is. Just listen to the news that I bring you. And many sense that changes in this nation's lifestyles are occurring. The newspapers are saturated with articles reporting activities of those advocating increased governmental spending. This man spending $1 trillion a month just printing money. We are broke. The state of Michigan is not ran out of money. You got 2 more days to file for SCR, and they out of money till October. We are broke. Understand that. Just print money. That's worthless for a variety of unconstitutional purposes. Organizations supporting a globalist concept urge the world to adopt a one world government. Psychologists preaching the destruction of the family unit. That started in the 60s for the black family with the creation of welfare because you couldn't have a man in the house in order to get the food stamps or medical or any cash assistance for your children. So you couldn't have a man in the household. So that was the destruction of the black family anyway. And recommending that the society rear the nation's children. That's the school. And it is rearing your children. It's indoctrination. Governments closing private schools and nations forming regional governments under which national borders are scheduled to disappear. This was written in 1990. Now you hear what the national borders are scheduled to disappear. Well, now we have an open border policy funded and operated and controlled by the United Nations. That's who controls the border. I did a video for you all on the Global Compact for Migration, which we are a part of. And when they come over, we're supposed to house, feed, clothe them, help them get a job, help them get, legal status. And we are a part of that. Trump will take us out of that if he's elected. So, a new philosophy known as the New World Order. Anyone desiring to know the future has become familiar with this new phrase and what it pertains for the world of tomorrow. As an indication that major changes are coming in tomorrow's world. One of the current trends mentioned in the call for one world government, one of those supporting the leap forward is Norman Cousins, president of the World Federalist Society. He said, world government is coming. In fact, it is inevitable. No arguments for it or against it can change that fact. The goal of the one world governor is not new. One thought came from Adam Weishaupt, which I talked, I think, over a year ago, who founded the Illuminati here in 1776. He was a teacher at canon law at the University of Ingolstadt in Bavaria. Also, he was a Jesuit priest, which the current pope is now. Okay? Which is the first Jesuit priest ever to be put in there because the Jesuits stayed in the background. They are more like the army behind the Vatican, but now they're in the forefront. But he also was a Jesuit priest. He said in 1776, it is necessary to establish a universal regime and empire over the whole world. A more modern organization that supports the coming changes is the Masonic order called Freemasons or Masons. The worldwide fraternity has members in America as well as all over the world. You got the Scottish Rite, the York Rite, even the Prince Hall Masons. The black ones are gatekeepers for the higher ups as well. Paul Fisher, in his book Behind the Lodge Door, he said Masonry will eventually rule the world. Albert Pike, the sovereign grand commander of the Scottish Freemasons in the United States from 1850 to 1891, wrote a book, Morals and Dogma. That's a great book. You can download it now, PDF, written in the 1800s. He gives the stance, the symbols, and everything of what these symbols and signs mean. He gave away a lot of secrets, but morals and dogma. He said, one of the greatest geniuses Freemasonry has ever known. He was a mystic, a symbolist, a teacher of the hidden truths of Freemasonry. So the outsider can know that whenever Mr. Pike speaks, he speaks with authority and knowledge. He is perhaps the greatest Masonic writer of all time, along with Manly Hall. I put that in there, Manly Hall. His book is given to each Scottish Rite Southern Jurisdiction Freemason who is asked to read it. In it, he informs the new Mason about the moral teachings of the Masonic Lodge. He instructs the Masonic reader that the order will eventually be asked to rule the world. He wrote, the world will soon come to us for sovereignty and pontiffs. We shall constitute the equilibrium of the universe and be rulers over the masters of the world. He wrote, and thus the warfare against powers of evil that crush the order of the temple goes steadily on, and freedom marches ever onward toward the conquest of the whole world. The order of the temple Mr. Pike was writing about was the Knights Templar, which, according to him, was devoted to the order of the temple. Mr. Pike the order of the temple was devoted to the tiara, the Pope's triple crown. There you go, the Church of Satan, the Catholic Church, and the crowns of kings. Mr. Pike said that the Catholic Church was a power of evil. Now, he said this in the 1800s because it had crushed the Templars, even though he admitted that they were devoted to the opposition of the church and the leader, the Pope. Can you imagine how it is now? This 200 years later. But the major point of that quote is that the forces of opposition, presumably meaning the Masons, are marching onward toward the conquest of the world. Mr. Pike repeated his devotion to the conquest of the world at the end of his book, Morals and Dogma. Such, my brother, is the true world of a master mason, such the true royal secret, which makes possible and shall at length make real the holy empire of the Masonic Brotherhood. But the major worldwide movement that champions a one world government under religious leader is a new phenomenon occurring worldwide called the New Age movement. Texie Mars, a researcher into this new religion, is nothing new under the sun. It's not new. The New Age movement has written two books on the subject. The two books are Dark Secrets of the New Age and The Mystery Mark of the New Age. He wrote, the New Age movement has undeniably taken on the defiant form of a religion, complete with an agreed upon body of doctrine, printed scripture, a pattern of worship and ritual, a functioning group of ministers and lay leaders. Another writer, Constance Compley, this hidden dangers of the rainbow. She actually lived in Lake Orion and in the 90s, the late 80s, early 90s. I would talk to her about her book, and we would have long conversations. But her book, The Hidden Dangers of Rainbow, another great book, A Planned Deception, she wrote, the New Age movement is a religion complete with its own Bibles, prayers, and mantras. Vatican City, Jerusalem equivalents, priests and gurus, born again experiences, they all call it rebirthing. Spiritual laws and commandments, psychics and prophets, and nearly every other indica of a religion. The new religion has series of leaders. One woman is Alice Bailey. I did a long lecture on her like a couple years ago. A prolific writer of the New Age. She was founder of the organization called the Archon School under the Majors. It was called Lucifer Trust, but they got almost trashed. Oh, in the 40s, 50s, that they changed it to Lucius Trust. And actually, this group of people, they have a temple in the United Nations in New York. They have a satanic temple where they go and pray. They are able to sit in on the meetings held at the United Nations in New York City. They have their own temple. Alice Bailey did that. And she was a student of Madame Blavatsky, who wrote Isis Unveiled and The Secret Doctrine. I got them books and I could never open them. They so demonic. Um, Blavatsky says she wrote these books under demonic trance. That's what it was. I can't even open them. But anyway, so this is what's happening, and that satanic temple is still there in the United Nations right now in New York City. But in her book, The Externation of the Hierarchy, hey, whoever's here, how you doing? I see you here. How you doing? The hierarchy. She told her readers who the organizations were that were going to bring the New Age religion to the world. She wrote, the three main channels through which the preparation of the New Age is going on might be regarded as the church, the media. So now, when I tell people that Satan preach every Sunday at the church, you have many pastors that have sold their soul. You can see it now, not just TD Jakes, but these mega pastors that took that faith-based money from Bush. Yes, they sold out. So she said what they using to form this new age movement: the church, the school, because they're indoctrinating the kids, and the Masonic fraternity. That go, and that's if you hit that 33rd degree, and that includes the Masons and even the women, the Eastern Star, that as well. Yes, that too. The women organizations as well. Benjamin Crump. Now he came out and did a one-page ad in the late 80s, 90s that said the Lord Maitreya is here. The one, the Antichrist is here, called Lord Maitreya. So I guess that sent them on out the way. I'm sorry. Is here. He said in his book, The Reappearance of the Christ and the Masters of Wisdom, the new religion will manifest the instance through organizations like Masonry, and Freemasonry is embedded the core of the secret occult mysteries. So the Masonry conceals a great mystery inside. So Masonry conceals a great mystery inside its temples, one that is connected somehow to the New Age movement. The Masons admit in some of their writings that they too are anticipating a new age, a series of major changes. Henry Clausen, the past sovereign grand commander of the Scottish Rite, wrote, we look towards a transforming into a new age using, however, the insight and wisdom of the ancient mystics. The Masons claim that the things they believe in are as old as ancient civilizations. They also claim that these mystics, the ancient philosophers, had the wisdom of all ages and that somehow this knowledge has become lost through the centuries. Humanity today does not possess this knowledge, but has become the task of the Masons and truth seekers to rediscover these benefits and to teach all mankind. Those possessing this knowledge will correct the world's current problems. Some of the Masons also acclaim to have identified the cause of the problem. Remember, I told you about Manly Hall coming up. One of the prolific writers, 33rd degree Mason Manly Hall, said, so if you unfamiliar with the different degrees, all Masons in America start through what is called the Blue Lodge, consisting of the 3 degrees. The initiate into this lodge goes through 3 separate and different initiation ceremonies, one for each degree. After completing these ceremonies, he may stay where he is or choose to affiliate himself with either the York Rite or the Scottish Rite. The latter is divided into 2 jurisdictions, the Southern and the Northern. Though these are based primarily on state boundaries, and whether one joins one or the other depends on where the initiate lives. The 2 Scottish rites have an additional 29 degrees, making a total of 32. There is one more degree called the 33rd degree, which is also 32. honorary, and only a few are invited to that degree. The York Rite has a total of 9 degrees. However, since little has been revealed about this order, the author will concentrate only on the Scottish Rite, and in particular the Southern jurisdiction. Mr. Hall wrote in his book Lectures on the Ancient Philosophy, he said, "A new day is dawning for Freemasonry. From the insufficiency of theology and the hopelessness of materialism, men are turning to seek the God of philosophy." Notice that Mr. Hall has said current theology. Obviously, current religion has proven insufficient. Also, he feels that materialism, meaning the right to private property, is also a failure. But more importantly, he points out that this new God of the Freemasons is somehow different from the God of the Jews and the Christians. Remember, I just told you about Helena Blavatsky. I've been studying this stuff a long time. She wrote in her book, The Secret Doctrine, at the end of the 18th and the beginning of the 19th century, many Freemasons traveling to Tibet, where they were initiated into the esoteric, which is only a chosen few order of the masters of wisdom. It should be expected that she would support the Masonic temple. In 1875, she founded Theosophical Society. We actually got one here right on Woodward in Royal Oak. A few years back, I went and visited, and they do a reading like every open reading every Thursday and Friday, and they wanted to initiate me in right then and there. I had to go see my dumb butt, and a full room full of witches, and they wanted to invite me to this meeting in Lance. I was like, y'all won't sacrifice me. I ain't going. But they wanted to take me to Lansing and all this stuff. I don't even know you, but they were so friendly. I don't know what they was gonna do to me. I got scared. I ain't never go back. But it's still there on where it's called the Theosophical Society. It's basically dedicated on teaching the world about her new secret religion. One of the earliest members of that organization, see, these is also subgroups that's committed to one goal, the one world government. Albert Pike was a part of her organization, and he later became the sovereign grand commander of the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. Albert Pike became a 33rd degree Mason, the highest degree attainable. In his book Morals on Dogma, he wrote, "We can look on all the evils of the world and see that it is only the hour before sunrise and that the light is coming." Mr. Hall is right. The evils that his fellow Mason Albert Pike saw are connected to current religion, and that which is coming is somehow different from these religious views. Mr. Hall also said a new light is breaking in the East. The significance of location, the East will be point. We'll talk about that later. A more glorious day is at hand. The rule of the philosophic elite, the dream of ages, will yet be realized, and it's not too far distant. So Mr. Hall is also expecting that these changes are about to occur, not in the so far new, in the future. Alice Bailey wrote, "Eventually there will appear the Church Universal, and its def- defiant outlines will appear towards the close of the century." Since she wrote this in the early century, we can see that she was predicting the arrival of the New Age in the 1990s. Ruth Montgomery wrote in a book entitled Herald for the New Age, the New Age, the Millennium, is a period of 1,000 years. We'll see an end to that strife at least for 1,000 years. Now that's biblical in Revelations, because God said he was going to lock Satan in the pit for 1,000 years and then release him again and slash him after what we go through this apocalypse. Constant Comby wrote again in the book, The Hidden Dangers of the Rainbow, the plan for the future includes the installation of the New World Messiah, the implementation of the New World government and the New World religion under Maitreya. I just told y'all that. I just told you that about the Lord Maitreya. A universal credit card system will be implemented. A universal credit card system. A world food authority will control all of the world's food supply. Now that makes sense why the chicken plants blowing up, they ruining the soil, they growing meat in the labs. They doing the 3D printing, giving you fake meat and all this. This is a 1990 book. A world food authority will control all the world's food supply. That's why you had the supply chain collapse and all this. That is the plan. A universal tax, a universal draft. Aren't they talking about drafting people now? Because our military don't have volunteers like they used to be. They intend on utterly rooting out people who believe the Bible and worship God, and to completely stamp out Christianity. Yes, it is coming. As was discussed in summary, certain people have indicated that they see the Catholic Church as the enemy. Here, Miss Crumby says that they see not only Catholicism as the enemy, they also see all of Christianity as the enemy. Whatever the New Agers believe in, it appears to be growing in popularity. So he's saying that right now these New Age books at this time during 1990 were grossing like 100 million in retail back then. So whatever they believe in, many people believe in it too. There's many witches and warlocks out here. But perhaps the most insightful comment made by Miss Cumby, The Hidden Dangers of the Rainbow, the intent of bringing about a new world order, an order that writes God out of the picture and defies Lucifer. So if Miss Cumby and other New Agers are right, the New Age movement needs to be discovered more in depth. And that we will get to in the next reading, The New World Order. Like, share, and subscribe. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think of the material being presented. I'll be back tomorrow because I got to get in this algorithm. Um, I'll be back tomorrow, and I'm gonna do some news, and just let me know what you think. Thank you.